There we go. I don't know how much that was cut out, but hi, good morning. It is I, your host, Jen. There we go. If my audio cut out at the very beginning, that's my bad. I have butterfingers this morning. But today is, what day is it? August 9th. So we're already through the first week of August, which is crazy. It's wild behavior. Anyways, God, that threw me off. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. You're getting a wonderful start to your week before we hit the Monday. I know I'm certainly to have a better day starting it with you guys and getting some streaming in and some more project. So, last time we were here was Friday, and we finished up the shorts out of the McCalls 7610 pattern. And my intention today was to get a little bit of stitching done by working on the commission quilt and then start working on the next thing. And then I realized I was going to have to take the table down and like reset up over there. And I was like, today we're just going to worry about starting a new pattern. We'll do the quilt another day. It's no big deal. I just was so excited to finish the shorts from this the other day. I was like, dang, I really want to go ahead and do one of the tank tops just to see how bad the tank tops are, because they have wonky designs. This one's not bad because it just has a basic scoop front. Bottom one here with the black tie-dye. This one's not that bad. These two are basically the same thing, but the blue one has a twist on the outermost back panel. So we're gonna do this. I really want to do this one in some pink knit that I have and use up some more of that blue, and we'll have a matching set for the shorts. So what I'm thinking is, because the pink stripes that are on the back of this would also be the front piece, we're going to pull this up here so you can see better. We're going to cut the black in the blue, so it'll be an accent piece, and the pink will be the front and the back. Sounds like a good plan to me anyways. And for those of you that were here Friday, you know we had a heckin' long stream to get those shorts done. We will not be having a heckin' long stream today. Because number one, a girl got 3 hours of sleep from doing self-care, believe it or not. I took a night to just do some things for myself. And then ended up not getting a lot of sleep. WAP. But for two, it's Sunday morning. I'm sure some people have lots of places to be. But that's about it. I don't think anything crazy happened this weekend. My weekend was productive. I got some day job work done. I got some house cleaning things done. I had some self-care time. And I more or less planned out what we're going to do for this week, because it usually takes about 2 to 3 days to finish an actual start to finish garment project with the cutting and ironing and everything. So we can probably do the tank top today. Tomorrow, if the tank top does not bleed into the next day, we're going to switch out and work on something for the small one. If it does bleed, oh goodness, if it does bleed into a third day, then we'll go ahead and work on the quilt. But I have until I think Mom said Friday. We're all going to Aunt Sylvia's house to work on putting tops together. So ideally we need to have the quilt top sewn together by Tuesday or Wednesday. And actually what I might do is take an extra day to go up to Mom's house to lay out the back, the batting, and the top. Yeah. So you guys might not see the sandwiching of the quilt, but you'll see all the other bits. The bits and the pieces. But I think that's about all the preamble we need for today. Just make sure that's still good enough. Making sure my hands are where you can actually see them. But yeah, I gotta tell you guys, I'm pretty stinking excited because this week has been it's been a good week, and I'm hoping this was not like a fluke week or anything as far as streaming and things go. Cats are very much awake. So since we're using the same pattern that the shorts were in, there's not a lot of instruction change as far as what stitches we're going to need, things we're going to have to do. You know, we're still going to have to cut the pattern out. We're still going to have to iron and flat. All of those things still apply. But what we're going to do, and I'm going to show you guys in the upper camera. So all but the hoodie tank top have the same front. The only difference is on the backs. So on the back, we are going to do, fold this back out, this back, which is altogether a whopping 3 pieces of pattern that we need, which is just 1, which is the front, 2, which is the back, 3, which is the back. Well, 2 is actually the contrast back, but what you get the picture. We have 3 pieces of fabric we're dealing with, which is great. So it should be pretty quick. Whenever I've done like quick 2-piece tank tops for the small one, it's usually about a day to cut, a day to stitch. And then if we like how this tank top comes out, then we will work on the hooded version. It's just, as much as I love a hood situation, it's hot outside. And I can't fathom doing a hood situation with the hot outside. Does not sound like a good time for me. All right, so 2 of the pieces we need are over here. The other one is on the other one. And I measured last night. It's in a really awkward spot between the large and the extra large. So because of how the shorts fit, a little snug, but fit, we're just going to go ahead and do the large. Because I was also measuring without my usual sports bra on, which is fine because I'm going to end up wearing this without the sports bra. But because of how much compression I get out of my sports bra, that was like the bust was the biggest area I was concerned about. The compression will save me here. So even if I never get to wear this as a solo, like without the sports bra, I know it'll work fine with. Okay. There we go. The light was harshing my vibes on my face. We're good now. But without further ado, we're just going to start cutting stuff out. I've got my pattern cutting scissors. Because remember, you do not mix your fabric scissors with your pattern cutting scissors. No, no, no. It's something too that I don't think I mentioned last time with the shorts, which I should have, is when you've got your pattern pieces and they have different sizes and stuff, you're going to see a couple of different types of lines. There may be some solid ones. You may see like regular dots. You may see almost like or dashes. You may see very like alternating dashes. That is to tell you or give you a better guide of what pattern size you're cutting out. So for this one, the double XL is on the far outside. It's a solid blue line. So in places where you get into corners, like if you've got a place in the neckline where they all kind of merge together at one place, it helps you figure out like, where your guide is versus the rest of them. So we're doing the large, so we're on the alternating mid-short dashes. Remember, I can't believe I didn't say that last time. That's so silly of me. And I did remember to pull out my cutting board for the fabric cutting bit. So we've got something a little more flat than this table. Not that the table's a bad choice. It's just where that bump is in the middle, I can deal with it when I'm cutting out the actual pattern pieces. When we're doing the fabric, not so much. Not so much. I still have like actual work to do today. Garbage, I know. Absolute garbage. But I did get to watch Men in Black last night. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. It was very good for my soul. And I got a little bit farther on my crochet tank top, which is very exciting. I'm closer to 2/3 of the way done with it now. I think I need to crochet like if I did some weird mental math row counting right, I think I have about 3 more rows to crochet, and then I can change the stitching to do the armpit section, which is only like 1/3 of it, and then we can stitch it together. And then I will have, honestly, I think that will be my first wearable crochet of the year. So we're gonna have to work on that between now and whenever the cold shows up. Which is hopefully soon, because we are in a crazy heat index. Crazy heat index this whole week. I think it's the temperature might not be over the mid 90s, high 90s, but it's gonna feel like 105 outside all week. Garbage. It's mucking with my lifting and I don't appreciate that. There we go. Just getting stuck to the side. Yeah, and today is the deciding day of if the official stream situation will be Monday through Friday or Sunday through Thursday. Kind of feeling like I want it to be Monday through Friday. Alright, first piece cut. I'm going to let you guys hold this while we cut out the other two. Thank you. Alright, and then piece 2 is also on the sheet. And my other side project with going ahead and doing the tank top side of this is we've cut almost all of the pattern pieces off of this right now, okay? We've got one more piece on this for the tank top we're actively doing. There's one more tank top piece on here for the other fit where you twist it. there is, what is this? The cuffs for the joggers. And then the hood for the tank top style, and the other piece that we need is on that one. That's all the pieces cut out. So at this point, we're almost ready to just deconstruct it into little baggies. And I do have them. I have these very cute pilfered from mommy's house. They're called pattern keepers. You can use them for whatever. Probably a good way to keep, if you're working on a big blanket with lots of square rows and you don't want to pin through them, and then label your rows on the bag with a Sharpie. But they're a good size, so you got room to fit like a bunch of stuff in here. But the plan is all of the tank top pieces will go in one bag, all of the bottom pieces are going in the other one. So the shorts are already in their own little bag. The rest of the jogger pieces will go in there with it. And written label, the bags will go as they are into the pattern box. The instructions will stay in this, cutely, in the pattern box. So that way the instructions stay with the original folder. The pattern pieces are where they need to be. And truly, do I need to label the bags? No, because all the pattern pieces are labeled with their pattern number and what items they're for. It's just going to be easier for me to, if I've got writing on it, instead of having to actually look at what's on the inside. But either way, it's a good system. So I'm definitely at a point where it's either organize or die. But I did spend this weekend thinking a little bit about what we're going to do for the holidays. Because the holidays are upon us. I think maybe October we'll do like all spooky stuff. What kind of spooky stuff? I don't know. Actually, I do know. So in The Nightmare Before Christmas, when they're making all the little toys. This is one of my other favorite movies, by the way. I love the vampire teddy bear doll. I think it's so cute. I think it would be kind of fun to... It would be cool if we just arbitrarily made up a pattern and stitched one together. You know what? We could go over like costume making things too. For those that decide that would be the thing you want to start with, is making costumes. I'll probably be making my costume for this year. What it's going to be, I don't know. I traditionally will either do a witch or a pirate. I got 2 looks. Mostly because I can get either of those 2 sorted out with my current closet situation. But I have the time and opportunity to create something new this year. So I will actually ask the small child what they want to be for Halloween and then base my life around that. They've been really, 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 really into Pokemon lately. Really into Pokemon. So it would be foolish to not be suspicious that they will want to be some form of Pokemon. Larvitar is close to the top of favorite. Yeah, everybody likes Pikachu. Everybody likes Pikachu. Eevee, loves Eevee. And Manaphy are like the big 3. So of those, I don't know which one would float her boat more. I have a couple of different ideas on how I could do like a a together costume with her for that. Because for Larvitar, I could either like willingly dress up as Ash Ketchum or do a Tyranitar to go with. Because Tyranitar is the evolution of Larvitar, and in the episode she likes watching, it's like a mommy-child situation. So that would work. If she wants to do Pikachu, again, just we'll turn ourselves into Ash Ketchum. And then, if she were to pick, what was the third one that I said? What was the third one? Eevee! I would probably just do a different evolution. I figure out how to do a Jolteon. Because I love Jolteon. It's my favorite evolution. I do run pretty deep electric Pokemon. When I play Sun, I do my best. Yeah, I wore, oh, by the way, I wore those shorts all day, Friday. Very comfortable. Very, very, very good. No issues. Oh, I almost didn't cut that right because it has a really hard swing outwards. Almost followed the wrong line. Yeah, it was great. No issues. No undone stitches. The elastic worked well all day. Very exciting. So now the next test, it goes through the washing machine. And we did have a button casualty. And I will cut the rest of this out later. That is not what this stream is for. But I am going to cut off some of this extra. Just double check I didn't miss anything. Where's my trash can? Ah. Behind. And I know I gotta go back and look at YouTube to see what the last stream upload I did was. So I'm a little behind. I'm distracted doing my day job. I actually sat down with Pops the other night, and Mom, mostly Pops, to kind of go over the financials of the situation, what long term would look like. It made everything feel a little bit more real. Like, we still have a ways to go. But it kind of helped. I was able to justify my decision making and my arguments and my logic in a way that didn't give him a lot of wiggle room to poke holes in my theories and my processes, which made me feel really good about it. You know what? He did that on purpose. I think he did that on purpose. Oh, big stretch. Big stretch. Okay. I think he did it on purpose. Here's why I think that. So we had a little bit of a heart-to-heart the other day when we were planting collards. And I realized some stuff that kind of affected who I turned into as a person as I grew up a little bit. One of those nature versus nurture moments. Had some interesting nurturing things. But anyways, I opened up with him about how it means a lot to me that he trusts me as much as he does with things. And it's a level of trust and confidence I didn't necessarily get out of my biological dad on a consistent, healthy basis. And so I wonder if the way he was asking me things about it and talking to me about it and just like offering up hints, ideas, and suggestions was like a, whether he could have been actively trying to give me a little bit of confidence to the situation, or it could have been a purely like, it could have just been the vibes. It could be I'm able to just pick that up now intuitively. It helped a lot. It helped a lot. So he did bring up a very interesting suggestion. That was, I'm trying to figure out how I want to describe it now. It was like, we'll go through the rigmarole of this. I'll go through the pattern. We'll do the cutting out, we'll do the stitching, blah, blah, blah. And when I'm finished and able to show you the final product, if you guys said, oh my God, I would like to make this thing, I would go, oh my gosh, you can so make this thing with me. I will pre-cut out the pattern pieces for you. Tell me what size you need. I'll cut the pattern pieces out and like insert shipping and product price, however that would look. And like I'll send it to you, and then you can follow along with the VODs and stuff and make it for yourself. It's a thought. So if that sounds like something you guys might be interested in, please let me know. You can shoot me a whisper or bring it up the next time I'm streaming and you're around. If you're watching this in the future, you can leave a comment on the YouTube if you go back and watch stuff on the YouTube. Whatever. Actually, we might do something maybe not so heavy as a clothing thing, like little stuffed animals or something. Or if you guys wanted to work on making your first set of quilting squares, that would be a fun one. But I'm doing the smart thing of thinking about it now, because if I wait and think about it later, I won't be able to do anything super nice and fun with you guys, and that'll make me sad. Because mind you, we already missed Christmas in July, and now we're in back to school land. Actually, we should probably do an episode that's just called I Can Fix That. And it's how to fix your child's clothes that will inevitably end up, you know, broke down in the first week worth of school. Your kids are hella active like mine are. It's always a possibility. But little things like fixing a seam, or oh, their pants are too short, but there's all this extra fabric on the end. What do I do? Because in this economy, you better fix it until it don't work no more. Okay. Set is piece 1, 2, and 3 for this particular pattern piece. I'm going to trim off some of the excess we got floating over here. Chop, 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 chop. Ciao. There we go. All right, so I'll get the extra pattern pieces cut out in the future. So that way they're already ready to go. And yeah, they're like, they look fine like this, but I don't want to leave them like this, because it would bring me a sincere amount of irritation to open it up and realize I have to cut things out. It does not sound like a good time for me. All right, on to the next thing. We need to iron out our pattern pieces. Youch. And take a quick little sip break. My poor dog is so over these early morning streams. Like, heard her breathing heavy this morning because she knew it was almost time to get up. And I was like, you poor thing. She was just or heard the alarm go off, and then was like, big sighs, and I was like, Jesus Christ, dog, you could like sleep. You don't have to be up for this. But she's here in the floor, hiding from the camera. No, don't get up. It wasn't free to get. No, let me free get up. I love you. Let me free get up though. Yeah, you just gotta go lay down. I know you're sleepy. You need nap. Yeah. Oh, I did almost have a panic about potentially need to like go to urgent care or something the other day. I don't know what I did in my sleep Friday night, but when I tell you I could barely like turn my neck to the left yesterday, it was bad. It was concerning because for the pain medicine that I did take, it didn't really feel like it helped. But I did little baby stretches all day yesterday. Hot bath. So I found my CBD lotion I was keeping stocked away for a rainy day. And that is what got it, I think. Because normally that lotion doesn't have any like sensation with it. But when I put that stuff on my neck last night before I went to bed, I was like, good Lord, there might actually be something wrong with me. But it feels better today. It wasn't enough to stop stream time. It was definitely enough to skip the gym, though. But for anyone that's just popping in, if you're lurking or want to chat, say hi, that's fine too. We are working on one of the tank top options out of the McCalls M7610 pattern that we were working on last week, that we did our blue shorts out of. And we are working on the tank tops for today. I have the same book because I wanted a set. Alright, so there is one. Well, that is the number 2 pattern piece, but the first one is ironed. This one's going to be a pain because it's got a weird lip to it. Just from where it was folded. Man, that's the worst when like you unfurl your pattern from the container and the fold lines are like right where your cut lines are. Shenanigans. Absolute shenanigans. Oh, come on, don't be like that, piece. Static electricity is a real thing. A real concern. Oh, we did pick up the wall hanging felt thing from Mama's house so we can work on farmhouse squares and get those laid out. Well, hung up. Just gotta get hung up on the wall. And that might take a whole stream just to like talk about it and start putting the squares up there. Because I'm sure I'm going to want to move stuff around as we go. That's okay. It's a very creative process. Alright, that is piece 3. And the big one. And something that I realized when I was measuring last night. So on the back of the thing, it'll have on there for you. It's just hella wrinkly. I can sit for a second. The finished garment measurements. So I'm going to put it in the top camera. But your finished measurements are going to have your bust line, your hip line, lower edge, back length from the base of the neck. And at first I was like, oh, let me measure this. And I was like, oh, my hip line, like my hip line is technically here. Like, oh, sorry, Joe. Like, the hip bone starts up here and it ends down here. So there's a little bit of a range. But I couldn't decide if the bottom edge was going to be too snug, like uncomfortably so. So what I did was I like mentally wiped out my mind. I was like, you know what, let me measure from the base of the neck down, and then I'll measure where the hip's supposed to be at. Which gave me, I think, a much more accurate representation of how the fit will go. And the large will still be fine. But I hadn't thought of that before. I was like, man, that's actually like smart. And it also kind of tells you if you need to shorten it or lengthen it or whatever. So that's helpful for even if you don't want it to fit standard. You know, maybe you want to make it into a crop. You can shorten it into a crop tank top. No. It's your pattern. Do what makes you happy. We'll probably try that. Not this week. But 1 week. We'll try it with these. No! Of course, that was going way too smoothly. Back in there. All right, last little edge. And you know what? Whatever, I'm not plugging it back in. It will retain the heat long enough to do this. All right, done skis. Turn it off and unplug that. pattern piece that way. Let's stick you in the chair. All right, excellent. So as far as how much fabric we need, okay, sorry. All right, so as far as fabric needs, we are doing, what did I say? B. What number? What letter? Letter B. So for the large, we need about, it says 7/8, a yard's worth of the main pattern fabric. And then about a yard of the contrast. Which is crazy, but okay. And then we don't need drawstring, we don't need elastic. Excuse me for this. All right, so now I'm gonna go to my cutting layout section. Which is easy peasy. So there's 2 pictures for B, because you have your regular fabric and then you have a contrast. So B, up in the top camera, come on. So both these pieces need to be cut on the fold, so that way when you open it, you have a full piece. And then the contrast, one of the same way on the fold. So the fabric we're going to use, we're going to let our blue from the shorts be the contrast. So it'll be like a little of blue. I thought that would be a better, like in my mind's eye, with the pink, it'll be a better color pop than having the pink behind the blue. But this is the pink. It's nothing crazy. It's pink. It's a little bit, it's not quite as stretchy as the blue. It still has a little bit of stretch to it. But I've got more of the pink as well, so that's why I also wanted to make sure that, okay, I'm using the pink as the main fabric, because I know I have enough to do it. It would have been a little questionable if we had tried the blue. Based on what I remember us folding up Friday. Okay, so I'm gonna slide my cutting board this way. Don't worry with this. Move my pattern pieces off to the side. And this should be folded right sides together. Okay. I'm just making a mental plan of attack. Because it is also just in general awkwardly shaped, because it's in a T. But we're gonna make it work. So I think instead of laying both pieces out at the same time, we're gonna piece it. I'm just stepping over to the corner so I can get a better fold. Make sure we've got the length here. And that we got the right grain line, because I definitely would rather have the stretch left to right instead of up and down. Because we want to have the stretch this way. So I'm laying this out here so I can look at my pieces. Figure out if we have the length. And if we don't have the length, ooh, it's tight, but I think we got it. It's really tight. So we're gonna give it a try. And before anyone freaks out, like, oh my God, what are you gonna do if you cut it and it doesn't look right? It'll get turned into scraps or something else. We do not panic here. There will always be something we can use it for. if we do this and it mucks up really bad. There will always be something else. So the biggest thing I'm going to have to worry about though is making sure that the edges are not curled in, because that will mess up the whole process. And then we'll all be very sad muffins about it. So when I'm piecing stuff together, what I do is I give it a generous fold to see where my fabric lines up at, and to figure out if I have any wiggle room to decrease that fold. So I'm using some of this over here. And I can probably take four fingers worth back. So we're basically going to get this back edge as close to the selvage line as we possibly can. And that will, sorry, I'm shedding hair everywhere. That'll make sure that when we fold the other edge over, we'll have enough to do the other piece. So I'm just going to grab like 4 in and whoosh with a flourish. And we have room for a little more. However, if we pull it in too far, then we'll mess up this back corner over here. But also, there is a delicate balance of this shoulder section. And looking at how much I have hanging over the other edge, we're in good shape here. So I am going to grab my paperweights. Or fabric weights. I'm going to line this up so close to the fold. And I think the corner I care the most about is this one. So I'll let that one move over there. And I do need to do a little bit of zhuzhing because this whole back line, if you guys can see it on the camera or not, this whole edge needs to be flush with the fold line. Right now it's not, so I'm gonna have to do just a little bit of wiggling to get it there. Some gentle manipulation. And then re-straightening out the pattern. Because it did wiggle, and if we have all these little lines in there when we go to cut, it's going to mess up the whole thing. Beautiful. And I get much cleaner than that. Now, my fabric scissors have disappeared into the pile of things. There we go. I almost pulled my rotary blade out for this, and then I was like, nah, I don't like it. I just didn't feel like it. But I'm going to start up here at the shoulder because it's going to give me the most problem with the curling at the top. So I know you can't see me, but trust I'm still here. Listen to the soothing sound of my voice assuring you that everything's going to be okay. And this one. And also, because we're doing the main color of this in pink, it means I can match the small one in her pink tank top. Very exciting. Oops, and then we do want to make sure we actually cut that into the... There's like a little divot in the shoulder section. You do got to make sure you cut that. I don't think it'll affect pieces A, B, and C. However, it'll probably be important when we get to the hood part on D. Come back to this side. We'll clean this edge up. Oh my gosh, the fall cravings are starting to get to me. Because we were doing our grocery shopping the other day. And I understand that leeks are not a, oh my god, you only have to cook them at a certain time of year thing. Because like, they're in the grocery store year round. It is what it is. But I want to make leek and potato soup, but it's too hot for that right now. Like, you can have soup any time of year. It's just a very, like, it's a very hearty soup. I usually make it in my Dutch oven. So, like, I don't want to do that in the summer. It's also why I haven't really tried to bake any bread in a couple of months, because it's just... I run the oven for like bare minimal things right now. Like when we're making chicken fries or pizza. Or I get the wild hair to make chocolate chip cookies or something. Because it'll only be on for a little bit. A little bit. That makes it okay. Alright, so there's pattern piece 1. And just like with the shorts, we're going to move our stuff out. We're going to gently fold this up, put a pin in it, and stick it to the side. Put it right there. Yeah. All right, let's get this scrap cleaned up. See what we got. I think I'll save this. Not this. Just remember, we need scraps for Subana too. Not that. Square that off. Hold on to that one. And there's a big fat stain there. That's annoying. Suspiciously looks like spaghetti sauce. Alright, so for piece 2, 3. Piece 3 is our other one that is going into, or is it 2? Nope, 3. Okay. Piece 3 is our other back piece, so it's still pretty wide at the base. very skinny at the top. So theoretically, we can do a little bit of zhuzhing around for this one, while avoiding our little problem areas. And I think I actually cut this wrong sides together, but you know what? You know how I feel about that? It is what it is. Because I like the lighter pink better. It's true. I don't like when things are crazy pink. I like a light pink. It's not going to be big enough. Just doing some mental gymnastics here to try and manipulate this fold into working in my favor. I think that will do it. I'm just going to flip the pattern piece this way so I can get the fold on the food. Oh my gosh, I have to cut the fold. So sorry, my mouth is crazy dry. All right, we're in business. That was wild. Okay. So, and of course, you guys can't see it, but we're running into the same problem where the shoulder's hanging off by like an inch. So we're going to play the zhuzh it down game. Making sure that that bottom edge is still unfurled. Make sure this is as close to that fold line as humanly possible. Just gonna put that down so I can see what I'm doing a little better. Ah, don't you come up here. I'm still upset with you from last time. Okay, just a little more. A little more of a zhuzh. A trifling amount. Sorry if I get really quiet. I feel like I'm performing surgery over here. It certainly feels like it. All right, it's close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. Close enough. Close. Close. Okay. Whew, got it. There's a will, there's a way. And I am filled with determination. It's okay, it's fine, it's okay, it's fine. It's okay, it's fine. Yeah, we're okay. Okay, phew. Scissors pinched right at the bottom edge. Wild behavior. Oh, we got it. All right, now we do have to clean up that bottom edge here. Okay. There we go. All right, that's 2 out of 3 pieces cut. My nose is itching. All right, let's fold this, get it put to the side, and then we'll see what we have left with the rest of that pink scrap. Pin. I'm not even going to try and feed that back the other way. Alrighty. I'm going to trim some of this just because I know it's got a couple of problem areas. All right. So now all we've got left of this is a little bit of this, a little bit of this. So that's it. We have officially almost used up all of this paint. I'm going to take this bottom section off, which looks a little too jank to be able to just pick up and use. So we're going to let it go. All right. fold this back up. Bam. That's pretty good in my opinion. That's a respectable amount of scrap left. Okay, for the last piece, the blue. Make it blue. All right. And I think, oh, that's right, I did pin this together. Okay, the only problem here is we do not have this where we can cut it on a fold. There's also not enough of this. I thought we had more than that to work with. That's okay. That is perfectly fine, because you know what we can use instead? That pink and white checkerboard. There is still plenty of that to mess with. And I know the small one likes it. It's my least favorite fabric. The small one likes it, so I'm using it. But we'll do that. It'll be a fun little design pop. And it's about the same shade of pink anyway, so we should be able to work around ink. Except, oh my god, do I not have that much left of this either? I thought I had 2 chunks of this. I don't want to use that. What are we gonna do? Because the problem that has arisen in this immediate moment is that other piece that's in there is not, it's not going to match up with these like we would need it to. I don't think this is wide enough at the bottom for me to be able to fold the top over to get the center bit. So it would have to come over like a lot. A lot. And this side's not much better. If we said screw it and fold it this way, then we'd be missing out the top. This is quite the conundrum we have arisen onto today. I know I should have just done pattern A. All right, let me think about this. What do we want to do? All right, let's take a sip of coffee and think about this. Because I don't want to have to jerry-rig a piece together. I really wanted to use that blue. The contrast would be partially hidden. It would be hidden down the center. Would a center seam bother me? Probably not. Okay, insight into my mental musings. So the way the contrast sits on the pattern, I'll show it to you on this. The contrast is the shaded in part of B. Yeah, let's get this to. So the contrast is the shaded in section of B, right? And if you will note, down the center is hidden by your back panel. So what we could do is be naughty. Instead of cutting it on the fold, we cut two separate pieces with about, I don't want to do a full like 5/8 seam allowance for that because that would be insane. But we cut it a little bit off so we have a seam allowance to Frankenstein the two pieces together, and then we have a whole piece too. That's the plan. If we do it that way, I should have enough glue. Because the issue is always going to be, there are usually two issues for me when I'm making tops. Shoulders and hips. Those are forever and a day the two that will give me the hardest time. If I wish really hard, it'll magically be wide enough. And if it's not, then we'll go back to the pink and white checkerboard, because that I know the two pieces are wide enough at the bottom to Frankenstein this. I don't think it's gonna be wide enough. Even if I left the salvage on there and let this basically be our seam allowance, I don't think it's gonna. No. All right. I can only justify so much Frankensteining, so we're gonna try this thought process on the checker print instead. And to preemptively answer anyone's question, well, oh, would it work as that other skinny piece? No, because the other skinny piece is also going to be that wide at the bottom because it needs to still stitch around my waistline. So, would love it if it did. Realistically, I know it won't. And again, that's the fun part about watching me make this. I'm making all the boo-boos. You don't have to do it later. Go in there. In like an absolute worst case scenario, we use some of the blue and white strap I used to make that long sailor looking dress. It's not a sailor dress, it's like a throw over. But I wanted to save that to make another one of those smaller. So we're gonna do our best to not have to cut into that. What I'm going to do is re-unfurl this, take it this way, and I'm putting this upside down on purpose. Because this way we can pretend that we're cutting it right sides together. And we'll lay the pattern piece on it like this. Unfold. Okay, so here's the logic. We're going to cut this like it is. That'll be one sheet. We're going to go to the other side of this that has about that same shape of fabric and cut the other one. Actually, oh, we can make this super easy. Hold on. We can make this super easy. Maybe. Hold on. Let me fold this before I do all the snipping I'm about to do because it might ruin the whole process. But I think fold this way and fold this way. I don't particularly care if the diamond patterns line up. It's something to be aware of because this is a pattern. It has a pattern. Normally you would care. I'm not caring for this. We have to be realistic with our expectations here. And we're going to creatively cut around that ink blot. And I think after this, we'll probably just be done with this particular piece of fabric. Oh, biscuits. Just gonna give it a gentle smooth out. All right, so the biggest things we gotta watch for is making sure we don't end up with this in our cut, and make sure that we're staying behind the selvage line that's up here. And oh my god, it's still wet. Okay, it's on my finger. It's gonna be fine. So we're gonna cut this, however, keeps us from hitting that thing. At this point, it doesn't particularly matter where the fold line is because we're Frankensteining this together anyways. I think right there will be good. Because that's going to keep us from hitting this. We want our seam allowance to be on that side. There we go. The plug came undone. We want our seam allowance to Frankenstein to be over there. So we're just going to have to stitch this line. Or no, it'll be this line. Shit. It just needs to be this. In that case, I want it to be closer like that. Okay. That's what we're gonna do. I've decided. Yeah. And there's just like one little awkward hole thing right there, but it's going to get hidden in the seam allowance. So we're going to let it fly. It's going to end up getting trimmed off anyways. And so after I get this cut, I'm going to put 2 different pins in here. I'm going to put pins down the fold edge as a mental reminder. Hey, you still have to finish putting this thing together. And then we'll actually pin it to keep the pattern piece together. I'm just doing my best to cut the ick out of these scraps as I go. Such a bummer. So we got a little bit of that. I need about 2 grids worth of extra. our Frankenseam. But we're still going to cut this in right at the pit. I'm going to be so real with y'all. I might go take a nap after this. That's how I'm feeling right now. Alright, get this out of the way. We're going to let that little armpit scrap go, I think. Because this I will not use for the sunbonnet soon. It's just too stretchy. Too stretchy for moi. I don't think it would hold up well. Beautiful. I'm going to take the weights off to do this next bit. We're going to be kind to ourselves and go ahead and pin. Uh-oh, my pin cushion. There it is. We're just going to go ahead and pin this down where our Frankenseam is going to be. Because we'll handle this first. Before we do anything else with this pattern, this will get done first. Now we can give this a cheeky fold and pin it together. And bloop, and bloop. We're going to use our regular pins to do that. Alright, that's all of our pattern pieces for this. Okay, I thought I hit a button because the fabric's heavy on my keyboard, but we're good. Alright, now about this monstrosity. Some snap, snap, snap. Chop that out. I think the rest of this is okay. Okay enough. Ouch. Sorry, I definitely just manhandled the hell out of the light. So we're going to fold our pink checkerboard back up with all of its scrap friends. Get something just to keep it together. The basket magically looks like it has space. Okay. I am going to go take a quick little break. And oh, the computer's on. I could take a quick little break and then we'll come back and we'll read through the instructions make sure there's nothing super silly we need to worried about. So I will be right back. And we're back. Come on, thing. Here we go. Have to scroll opposite ways for the vertical and the horizontal to find my stuff. Alright, let me just some things around. Scrap. Okay. That is up as far as it's gonna go. You have to come down. There we go. So these instructions are also probably going to be heckin' quick for tomorrow. Pop this back open. Oh my god, I'm such a dunce sometimes. So you know how we were making those shorts and I was like, oh god, I need interfacing for this? Nope, I was supposed to cut that piece out with the pattern the wrong way around. That's why it's important to read. The interfacing dots sometimes look like the wrong side of the pattern dots. Oh. Good news, the short still came out fine. Next time, remember, wild behavior. Clearly I was not awake enough. Yeah, so to give everyone the context of how that came to be. So on the instruction page side, the wrong side of the pattern is dots. On the actual sewing side, the fabric key. Where's my thumb? There it is. Fabric key, also dots for the interfacing. So that was a big brain fart moment, but we're okay now. Okay, so we'll be working with pattern B. I'll hold this up, something to think about. So it has the same note that we had for the shorts, which is we're going to have to stretch the fabric evenly in front and back of the needle while stitching. So we're going to do the break the fabric. Let's see. So front and back instructions. Okay, so this is interesting. So for top A, we need to look at top B. So everyone knows top A has exactly 4 instructions. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need top B, which has exactly 3 more instructions, which is great. Let's switch that over. Okay. So for top B, there's no additional notes, which is fabulous. First, for the top and the back, or the front and the back, ease stitch the side edges of the front above the notches. So an ease stitch is what you use to kind of gather in your fabric edges. So we may not need to ease it much, we may need to ease it a lot. That all it is what I like to do is I use a basting stitch, so a really long stitch, and you stitch along the seam line, not ahead of it, not behind it, on seam line. And when you're adjusting it to make sure it fits your person, you pull the thread from the top and the bottom evenly to gather it in. And where that is it's like right here, to give you an idea of how that's going to adjust. So E-stitch the side edges of the front above the notches, so that'll just be on piece 1. And then 2 is finish the neck and armhole edges of the back with a 5/8 narrow hem seam, easing where necessary. So the narrow hem we did on the shorts, where we folded it, pressed it, unfolded it, folded it halfway, pressed it, and then did like a doot and rolled it forward. That's how we finished the neck and armholes on the back piece specifically. And then we finish the outer curved edges and the neck of the back overlay with same thing, 5/8 narrow hem, ease when necessary. And we pin the wrong side of the overlay to the right side of the back, matching notches, centers, and circles. Baste raw edges together. And the reason you're just basting it is because we also have to attach the other back piece, and it seemed really counterintuitive to sew through the whole thing twice with your final stitch. So that's why we're just basting it to start. So baste and then pin back to the front shoulder, matching notches, and then we pin the actual back piece on. I guess that would be the contrast. It's a lot of hemming. It's a lot of hem. It's a lot of pressing. Just so we can all be mentally prepared for that. So I will make sure to leave the iron out for tomorrow morning. But I think we might go ahead and call it for today, because we got it cut out. I know I have the pink thread out already that I used with both of those pieces before, so we'll use that. And I know I have some pink on the bobbin already, I think, from the same projects. So we'll keep those. I just need to switch them out on the machine and put on a new sewing needle, because that one has served its time. It's done its job. So we'll go ahead and round it out. I'll play you guys out with some jams. I'll work on uploading some of the other VODs to YouTube for archiving purposes. Yeah, thanks for joining me on this gorgeous adventure of having to Frankenstein stuff together, because that, you know what? I don't think, no, I'm not going to write a note here, because that's not going to be a regular thing. If I have to make a note for like a long-term thing, I'll put it in the instructions, but otherwise, we put pins in it. Memory should serve us well for this. I don't know why I'm folding it like that. So I should be folding it so the pattern's on the front, so tomorrow we can just rip it open and go town. There we go. Alright, so that's folded up, so we're just looking at one strip of instructions at a time. And that's a wrap. Alright guys, thank you for joining me. It will probably skip Sunday next time. I know y'all are out partying Saturday night. Y'all are not going to be here in the morning. It's fine. I probably could have used the sleep instead. So going forward, and I'm going to double check that it's in the schedule the way it's supposed to be at, we'll do Monday through Fridays. That way you guys can have the weekends to yourselves. I can have the weekend to myself. Also important. But we'll finish this tomorrow. If we finish this in a reasonable amount of time, we'll go ahead and do the Olaf blanket tomorrow. So we'll put that on the schedule. And though I will be going to do quilt stuff on Friday, we will still stream Friday morning. I will have plenty of time because we don't have to be at my aunt's house until lunch-ish time. And I'll probably ask Mommy if we can carpool at her house. Oh, good morning! Surprise, surprise! I was just about to get off because it's been a very slow morning. I already finished cutting out the pattern pieces and made the executive decision that we will not be doing Sunday next week. We're going to use a Monday to Friday schedule. Oh, you guys had too much gardening yesterday? Yeah, that I understand. Yeah, it's I'm already done cutting. I just read through the instructions to like myself in the void, which is super fun. But I decided, instead of trying to stitch the top of the Olaf blanket today, I decided to go ahead and try and do the tank top out of this. So let me do this. So I cut out the pieces for B. So this one right here, where it has the two-tone on it, which was an experience. So I got to use a lot of scrap fabric. So I'll show you on the upper camera because it's still up, right? Yeah. I'll show you what I got cut out because it was only 3 pieces to cut, which is fabulous. But I had to do a little jerry rigging, a little Frankensteining. But I'm using some of this pink knit to try and get rid of it, and my scrap pile is a lot smaller now, Grammy. You should be very excited. Actually cut that one the wrong way. So this is the back piece that everyone's going to see. Yeah, 3 pieces is great. I was reading through the instructions. It is a lot of ironing and a lot of hemming, which is tragic, considering how much I enjoy either one of those things, which is not much. But this is one piece, so this is going to be the most visible bit on the back. This is our top piece. Which is going to be in the same pink. And the intention was, because there's a strip in the back, it's kind of like a hidden color thing, my intention was to use some of the blue that we used for the shorts. I barely had any blue left. It was not wide enough to be able to cut this piece of fabric out. So I had to improvise, because I already cut out these 2 pieces and they don't both go with the other tank tops. So I went with, there was still some of that pink and white checkerboard that I had made the small one skirt out of. So I decided to use that. So this will be like a peekaboo on the back. And it actually worked out great that it's a little bit stretchier than the actual fabric, but this will be peekaboo behind this. So that'll be fun. And you may notice, hopefully it looks good when it's done. I think it'll be fine. But you may know this piece was supposed to be cut on a fold, and yet I have all of these pins in this tank top situation. The reason why is I did not have enough of the pink and white checkered that was untainted by the decisions of myself and the small child, that I had to cut 2 straight pieces out. And what we're gonna do, what I cleverly came up with, was I laid it out And on the fold edge, I gave myself an extra 5/8 top and bottom to sew a seam down from the center, so we will still have one big panel like we cut it on a fold. And the good news is I only had to worry about the small line right here. And I don't mind doing it for this one because the way that this piece lays behind the actual outer piece, you're not going to see the seam line. Like, you're not, unless you're sitting there like trying to nosedive into the back of it, you're not going to know there's a seam line there. So it worked out. A little bit of a panic. And then, Grimmy, you will find this funny. I was reading back through the instructions and I was looking at the pattern cutouts for the shorts. And I realized I wasn't actually supposed to cut out interfacing. It was saying that I needed to flip the pattern piece upside down to cut it out. So the good news is it looks fine either way. You guys will know. That's about it. But it was just so silly of me because I read everything except for that. And the thing is, in the pattern section, reverse pattern is polka dots. In the fabric section, interfacing is polka dots. So my brain managed to like toss out the reverse pattern bit. But it's okay. It's fine. It's not a big deal. And so the good news with this particular pattern set is we have almost cut out all the pieces that it needs. You know what? We're just going to cut the other pieces out while we're talking because I'm not whipping the sewing machine out. We're just going to finish cutting out the pieces for this, like out of the set. Because I'm actually putting to use my Nancy's Notions pattern saver bags now. So what I'm doing for stuff like this, where it has tops and bottoms in the pattern, all of the bottom pieces are going in one bag and they will be labeled with what it is, right? So the pattern number, the size that it's cut out to, and like what it actually holds. So that one has on there shorts, joggers. The rest of these pieces will go into another bag that's just going to say large tops, and it will house all of the top pieces. And that way I can keep my patterns will all probably stay in the pattern. It's not the right pair of scissors. The patterns will all stay in the pattern box, but the instructions will go back into the envelope, and the envelopes will go somewhere else because they will at that point be a lot thinner, be a lot easier to stack them and keep them contained in a way that I can find them easily. So we're really hamming up the organizing here. But I hate that you missed out all the actual cutting bits, so I'll get this cut out before I hop off. But I am tired. I actually, yeah, isn't it a great idea? I thought of it all on my own. Yeah, I am exhausted. Like, I actually almost finished my coffee this morning. I managed to pinch the mess out of my neck Friday night. So yesterday I was miserable. Like, pain meds weren't hitting it. And I finally got a hot bath in, and I still had some of those CBD lotions hidden away in the cabinet. And that got it. That managed to like soak into the muscle and get me some relief. So I actually woke up this morning and I was able to turn my head most of the way to the left without actually being in pain. Great. Yesterday was so bad that if I accidentally just moved too fast, like any kind of sharp, like checking on the child movements, it felt like being stabbed in my vertebra, or like right down the side. So glad I held on to those because I almost didn't. But this is the hood piece. It's getting cut out and it's going to get put into a clear plastic bag. And I cut everything to a large for this. I'm glad I feel better too, because I wanted to go to the gym, but the way it would have been glutes and hamstrings day. So I wouldn't have had to put anything on my shoulders because I switched out a couple of machines anyways. That would have been an issue. I was like, I would have had to do Romanian deadlifts. So instead of like picking it up all the way from the floor, you're like hinging forward and letting it fall. Or not fall. You're hinging forward. And then you're doing all the heavy lifting with your glutes and your hamstrings. And I was worried that I was not going to have the grip strength to hold the barbell. And I don't use chalk or straps or literally anything. It's just 100% what my hands can hold. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to do that with the way my neck's tweaking out. So I opted for a nice night in, used one of my bath bombs, pulled out all my lotions and potions and stuff, and just enjoyed myself. And then I watched Men in Black and got some crochet done. So it was a good restful recovery night. I'm still running on like 4 hours worth of sleep. Oh yes, the cuff for the pants is still on this, so that needs to go in the other baggie anyways. But yeah, we'll actually stitch the tank top together tomorrow. That's not cutting on the right now. We need to cut on the lodge. There we go. So that'll be the first order of business. So aside from the actual instructions, the first thing we're going to do is sew the Frankenstein pieces together. And then we'll carry on with the rest of the instructions. And I might... Yeah, I think it was 4 hours. Hold on, let me... This one, no, it was 2:30. Yeah, 4-ish. 4-ish. I will be looking for a nap later today. Yeah, for tomorrow, since we're going to have to do so much ironing, I'll probably reset up this table. I don't like leaving it out all day. It just gets in the way. So I'll pull it back out tonight. And so that way we can have... I'll probably have camera over there. Actually, I might leave the camera on this table and iron on the circle one. Either way, we're going to use all the tables tomorrow to make my life easier. The second ironing mat, I don't know that I need... It's bigger than mine. Yeah, I'll take it, because that one's good for smaller things, but for bigger pieces, yours will probably be a little bit better. Cut down past that corner, and then I'll come back in and flesh it out. Yeah, Grammy, I don't know if you heard me or not, but we're gonna stitch it all tomorrow, and then depending on time, we'll do the Olaf blanket together tomorrow. We'll probably just do it real quick when we're done stitching this together, because I don't imagine it taking too long. That was the thing you forgot? Bet. It's always something. It's always something, ain't it? Oh, and by the way, the child did not accidentally purchase anything on my Amazon account. It was Amazon taking out its monthly dues. Because I was like, that's an oddly specific number, and I feel like I've seen that oddly specific number before. But the reason it freaked me out is there are a lot of like games on that she could have bought off of my profile that are $14.99 that with tax would have been the $16.87 that was in my thing. It was just my usual monthly bill. Oh man, cause it, like, no, it's just janky. Janky. I think anyways. I'm gonna go back and double check if I was like that. Makes a lot more sense. And honestly, I didn't see any new games on it when I was looking. She might have bought more space. Like cloud storage or something. Which is fine, because she already didn't have enough space on there for stuff. It's fine. It's fine, but yeah, this morning was, I don't know what part of my brain thought people were going to be awake at 6:30 on a Sunday. That was wild thought process on my part. that was crazy. Not on this platform anyways, I don't think that was a reasonable expectation, but we'll probably ditch Sundays and keep Fridays. And that way gives me a little time to be a delinquent on the weekends too. Yeah, when I saw you weren't on like at 6 o'clock, I was like, someone's tired. Someone probably needed the rest. And I know Dizzle's not going to be on anytime soon because I was still getting messages from him also at 2:30, 2:45 in the morning. So that one's not surprising. Not even a little bit. All right, and we're gonna cut the cuff, and then this pattern set is completely chopped through. It feels good to have the thing like almost completely cut out. This is the first pattern set where I've used almost all the pieces in it in 2 rounds. So heck yeah. I like it, Picasso. Yeah. Yeah, no, I knew that would be the confirmed not here. And I also just don't foresee him waking up enough to cut it on and put it on in the background at 8 o'clock either, so. Unrealistic. And that's okay. Oh, my nose is itching. Ka-chow. It does. It is like motivating me to do more. Speaking of, so this was bulging last time. Let me take that book out. So this is all that's left of the pink and white. It's a panel and some scrappy scraps. It's not a lot. It will not be for quilt purposes because it's just crazy stretchy, but if I like, I don't know. I think it's not enough to let go yet. Now, if I can't use this in the next 2 months, it's out. It is out. The pink, I'll probably keep for a little bit. This would actually work out pretty well for Subanatsu maybe or something else quilty because it's only a 2-way stretch. So this I would be a little bit more comfortable with using in alternate ways. And then same thing with the blue. I have 2 strips of this that are only like that wide. So we're getting down. Oh, I'm just gonna let that go because that's got ink blotches all over it and I can't be bothered. So all we have left in the I need to use this before I open up the box again is I have Flower Power left over from the small one stuff, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and try and get her shorts and or a top out of this because I think I have enough to do both. I have enough of the blue and white stripe fabric, I think, to get a smaller version of the dress that I had already made out of it. So we're gonna try and do that because I do want to do that dress smaller. So I need to pull the pattern out and chop, chop, chop. So both of those have a plan that will greatly bring them down. I still have some of this daisy print that is a 2-way stretch. I don't know. I know I'm holding on to it for a reason, but I can't remember what that reason is. I have a lot of farmhouse scraps left. You think, yeah, so you can tell I have a lot. I definitely overpurchased. I have a little bit of the ripstop left from her raincoat. That I'm probably going to make into a bag. I don't know that I will get to that sooner or later. Oh, I have a lot of chunks of the pink and white in here. It's almost, I could almost justify using it to make like a t-shirt quilt. And use it for squares for that. But some of this is stitched together from where I was like chopping and hacking away at it. That was a mess. I didn't trust the system. But yeah, I've got plenty of bits and bobs of the farmhouse left over, which, like I said, Sue Bonnet Sue is going to get some blue and white gingham. And then towards the bottom of this, I have this like chunk of purple leather situation. Faux leather. I think the intention of this was a form of bag, if I remember right. And then at the itty bitty bottom, I have these 2 pieces that I have been holding on to for a while. They're really pretty. I love them. Yeah, the purple would be really great for a bag. Oh, hair bows. It's actually not a bad idea. It's actually a really good idea. I'll have to look up patterns for that because I don't know how to. I can mentally math how to do that, but I just want to look at a written version to compare against my mental notes. But I have this butterfly, and then I also have this black with purple flowers. And they kind of go together, they kind of don't. I don't know what I don't remember what I was going to use them for. I think once upon a December, I was going to do a blanket with them. However, now that I have all these really cool clothing options, I think I have a top pattern that I have enough of that fabric to use it with. So I'll have to pull it out, measure it, and decide before we get into it. But we still have a couple of other little scrappy things to get through first. But yes, this was bulging like this. And now everything lays in it flat. Yay! A throw quilt would be gorgeous in it, but the one little dress with the flowers being in the pockets. No. This is my fabric. I love my child. There is so much fabric in this. These are my pieces that I have been sitting with to use for me. Also, that kid does not like wearing that much black. Like, you grant me. That is probably the one color that the child would just never willingly put on. I too have my fabric. Yeah, like it's my fabric for me. Me. Because everything else she kind of has free roam over anyways. Just let her have it. Yeah, I don't know. Because I have a halter tank top pattern, but I think the halter tank top needs a stretch. If I remember right. have to look it up later. But anywho, so all the short and jogger stuff is in this one. And then we're going to go ahead and start a bag for the rest of the tank top stuff until we get to the hooded version, which I'll probably get to in a month. Because I will want it soon, just not right now. Here comes the orange. Hello, orange. How are you? Yeah, he tried to hop up here while I was cutting, and I was like, I'm still mad at you from last time. I need you to leave. And he, sure enough, hopped down and vacated the premises. Come back, because I need to label you. Yeah. What is even in this notebook? What was I writing in here? There's a lot of stuff in here that I will not be sharing with the class. Including, but not limited to, work stuff from when I was working at Banfield. I actually have a note in here. This notebook will help me collect my thoughts and communicate well with clients. Well, there's like, where are all these thankful notes from? I must have been doing a so many days of being grateful. Woke up at 5:30 in the morning in 2020. Wild behavior. What in the world was this thankfulness thing? That must have been something particular. First 30 dating boundaries. Should probably read through those again and make sure they're up to date. That's the page that was bookmarked, by the way. So that's for me to know, and y'all to probably know her experience. Probably. Anyways, oh, the music already cut out. Whatever. We're just gonna mark this bag up and call it a day. Let's see if this purple pen marks on here any better. The black one was being silly. All right, no, oh, that was silly. We get an actual marker situation. Oh, mercy. Got everything over here but a freaking Sharpie. Which is wild, considering I used to have Sharpies for work all the time. Which one looks the oldest and has the most wear on it? Yeah, that's the good one. Just remark this other one too. M7610. Shorts. Joggers. Oh. M7610. Tanks. That's all that's in here is just tanks. A large. Perfect. Those get to go in the box. And I think I will take one of my other empty things and use that for the actual instructions. Yeah, because they'll be easier to flip through in a different style box. Whew, it's tight in here. Hold on. Okay, maybe not. Maybe yes. Maybe no. Maybe it'll flatten down on the top and be okay. So if you're wondering if a girl has enough patterns, yes, for right now. I think, and mind you, a good portion of those are kids' patterns that don't fit that one anymore, so I might give them away because I don't know that I'm ever gonna, I don't know, so I'm gonna make them for other people, maybe I'll put them in a different box as a storage thing and let that just be for stuff that I'm actively using on a regular basis. That's what we'll do. It's a good plan. I like that plan. I like it when a plan comes together. Where's my cord thing at? Yeah, that will officially round us out for the day. And we will be back bright and early tomorrow morning, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to conquer the world. And, ooh, I need to make more cold brew today because I ran out yesterday. But I think that's it. So tomorrow's just going to be a big, big fat day of stitching and ironing. But anyways, I'm going to cut the music back on to play you guys out for this morning. Go back to this inner calm. It's very nice. It's definitely helping me feel calm. But I'm going to turn the music up. I'm going to play you guys out. Thank you for coming back to Sip and Sew. I'm so grateful and thankful that you guys were able to be here with me today. If you're not already following, be sure to follow so you get notifications when we're going live, which again will be going forward Monday through Friday. We will not be on next Sunday. And you can also follow me on Blue Sky for any other additional updates that don't make it onto the Twitch story. I think that's a wrap. I hope everyone has a beautiful Sunday and a great start to your week. Bye.